Hello and welcome, Global History. So, this is our first official online lesson. So, we are going to be actually getting into new stuff today. This isn't a review like the packets from the last 2 weeks are. And that's why we're making these videos, to make sure we go through everything so you can hear me explain some of the information and that you get it all. And then have that time to ask questions during our live session later today. So when you're looking in the slides that were posted in Google Classroom, I'm just going to go into present mode because then you get to see the whole thing. So welcome. So these are a lot of slides. I know it's like 50 slides. I'm going to be honest though, about half of them are just directions. So don't be overwhelmed. It's not a crazy amount of reading, no more than you would normally do in like a class or two. It's just a lot of slides, okay? So welcome. I give you the agenda. So this is basically going to break down what you're going to be working on for the day. And again, this is what you're working on for this entire day. You're going to get this assignment. You'll have the entire day to complete it and turn it in by 11:59 p.m. tonight, Wednesday, April 1st. So it's broken down into 3 parts. This is going to be the video for part 1. So we are just up in this first part here, and we are going to be, I don't know if you remember where we left off, but we were talking about how in China there was a revolution and China became a communist country and they got rid of all the Europeans that were there. They were now their own kind of place. So we are not going to another country. We're back in India. And we're going to be basically this whole day looking at how India went from a place that was colonized to being a place that was totally independent. So the first part of the lesson is going to be reviewing what we already know and thinking about how these really bad circumstances, situations, events cause people to want to fight for their freedom. All right, so the beginning of the lesson today, the first thing I'd like you to do is the do now. So you're going to click here and it's going to bring you to your daily check-in. So you're going to do this every week. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to write us a little bit of a message, whether you have me, Mr. Matua, me and Mr. Fernandez, or you have Mr. Crone. You'll write us a random school appropriate message, like what's something you did that was fun, or what's a joke you have. I don't know. Write down the day so we know when you did this. Tell us when you started working on global history. Be honest, okay? And then just a quick, how's it going? You'll submit that, turn it in. This is just participation points, so please do it, all right? And I'm going to go back to my slides, okay? So going into the next slide gives you the directions for part 1. So you have just one assignment. There's a couple parts to it, but you have one assignment for today. So I'm going to click the assignment there, and it opens it up. If you're working on a computer, I would recommend just keeping this up because this is going to be, you'll scroll. This is your assignment for the entire day. So in the slides, you'll see it'll say like, answer these questions. And then you're just going to pop back here, right? So just to go over the instructions here for the assignment, it says, welcome to your first online learning assignment. You have until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday to complete this. All these questions go along with these slides. And at the end, you'll submit it. There's 20 questions, and then there's a short writing assessment, and then there's a short check-in at the end. And that is it. It's not that much. There's multiple choice questions. There's select all questions. There's short answer ones. It's not too bad, all right? So going back to the slides. So you're going to open up that assignment, keep it there. Then you're going to go through slides 5 through 16, reading the information and completing the questions in the assignment form. So moving on. So the goals for this one, so these are like our objectives, meaning, so basically, as I said, this whole unit's about how India gains its independence from Great Britain. And during part 1, you are going to review what life was like during the age of imperialism. Reminder, imperialism was when a more powerful country, meaning a country that had more more advanced economic system or was more industrialized was able to go and conquer and take over other places. So, in this example, Great Britain took over India. So, you're going to use this information to explain the historical circumstances, aka the causes. That is a term that we have still been struggling with a little bit, that led to the Indian independence movement. So, first thing we're going to do is a review activity. So, it says on slides 6 through 10, you'll see a variety of photos related to topics we've already learned. You've maybe even seen these pictures before. You'll look at the photos, and then in your assignment, aka that form that I was in earlier, you'll answer question 1. So, I'm going to look through the pictures first. Okay. All right. I have this thing called the power loom. It's a machine. It was invented in the 1800s, so I'm already thinking, what was going on in the 1800s? Okay. And it was in Great Britain to help make fabrics and textiles. I'm going to start thinking that, okay, this photo clearly was happening during a certain time in a certain place. And I'm already saying, you know what? I think this is about the Industrial Revolution. So I'm just going to start thinking that as I look at the picture. Okay. Next, I have a picture of British rule in India through East India Company, then the British government. This is one of the first British viceroys. That's like a politician who has power, meets with Maharaja Ranbir Singh, an important Indian person, the head of an important Indian family, on a tour of the country. So now I'm seeing that the British are in India. So I've been thinking back to the other picture. I want you, as you look through these pictures, to think how they're connected to each other. So the first picture I had, Industrial Revolution, and now I have the British in India. How did they get there? Okay. Then I have the Sepoy Rebellion. Oh gosh, okay. So it says, illustration entitled Attack of the Mutineers, people who rebel against their captains, on Redan Battery at Lucknow. So I'm looking at this. I clearly see there are Indian soldiers rebelling against other soldiers. So usually if there's a rebellion, it means they're angry about something. But I also, because I've taken global history for almost an entire year, I know what the Sepoy Rebellion was. And if you forgot what that is, the Sepoy Rebellion, reminder, was when the Indians were so frustrated with the introduction of this new kind of gun cartridge that in order to put it in the gun, it had to be greased with pig and cow fat. And that was super disrespectful towards the different religions that practiced in India, the Hindu religion, the Muslim religion. So they rebelled against the British who brought this. And they were just so frustrated at that point by the British taking over and forcing them to be their soldiers, forcing them to work for them, that they rebelled against them. But I also remember this rebellion wasn't successful. So now I'm just saying, okay, so if I go back to the first slide, the Industrial Revolution happens. They're able to, in Great Britain's able to make these new machines. They're able to get places faster, make more things, gain more money, more power. So they went to India and they went to get resources so they could use them to make more things and gain more money and more power. But as they gained all this power, the Indians became frustrated. So you see, I'm telling a story with these pictures. So in this picture, it says India in the 1800s. I see what looks like clearly a white dude just relaxing, having, getting a pedicure, I don't know, foot massage probably. This is supposed to be, I think, like a fan. And clearly these are two Indian servants. So after this rebellion, does it look like things got better for the Indians? I'm going to say no. Not only did they get bad in terms of they had to work for the white man tried to make them look like them as well. So Indian man in the late 1800s. This, clearly we see he's wearing glasses. He has a suit and a tie on. Looks very different from the Indians in this picture. Or the Indians in this picture or this picture. He looks like a European. He looks Western. This is what we would call Westernization, making somebody more European or American-like. So I just looked at those 5 pictures, and I just told you a story, basically. I told you the story of what happened in India over the last 100 so years. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go back. I'm escaping. I'm going back to my assignment. I'm going to go to question 1, and it says, based on what you remember from earlier units, so I'm right here. Hint, Industrial Revolution and Imperialism. Explain how you think these photos are connected, meaning what story are they trying to tell? So if you just listened to me, I told you the story. So now you're going to, in your own words, answer that question there. When you're done, you're going to head back to the slides. And you're going to move on to slide 13. I should say slide 13. So we're going to do a quick vocab review. So first word is colonization. And reminder, this means the process of establishing control over the native people of an area. Meaning when you go and take over a group of people who were already there. So we've seen this in India. We've seen this in African countries. It happened in the United States. It happened in China. So many places. So that's the first word I got. On the next slide, I have decolonization. So anytime you see like D in front of the word, like decrease, or I don't know, can't think of another example right now, but I know it means it's probably going to be kind of like the opposite of it. So decolonization is the process of removing a colonizer. So that's kind of what we're focusing on all of today, about how we went from what was happening in that story we just kind of looked at, and how people wanted to change that story, how we wanted to go from a country that was colonized to one that was decolonized. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to questions 2 through 4 in your assignment, and you're just going to write those definitions. If I was doing this, I would go back here. I just copy and paste. Copy, paste, put it in. All right. After you're done with that, you're going to head back, and you're almost done with part 1. It's not that bad, okay? I know it's a lot of slides, but it's not that bad. So you've answered question 1 through 4. So now you're going to do a short reading. It's basically now I'm asking you to read everything I just said, and you're going to answer question 5. So I'm going to X out again, go back here. Again, it's a short reading. If that is hard to see, you can always zoom. It's a little fuzzy, but you can zoom in, right? Read the reading, and then it's a nice, easy select all that apply question. So it says, read the info below and then answer the following question. Which of the following is a historical circumstance cause that led to decolonization and the fight for independence in India? Select all that apply. So there might be more than one answer here. So if I said I think it's these 2, then just select those ones, right? That's it for part 1. So you are done with part 1, and now you're going to part 2. All right.